So hello guys, I'm outside today because it's very loud in my apartment. It's very loud everywhere to be honest. But it's a sunny day, so it's not too cold. Even though we've been having like a cold freeze here in Florida, Miami is still very warm. So I wanted to react to or give my opinion, my thoughts on Adobe discontinuing Animate, which I think is a really big deal because and it was called Flash back in the day, so I still call it Flash. And the title of this video might be like why like software subscriptions are a scam, because I remember I used to have the standalone Adobe CS6. I had the full suite and it was entirely paid for. You did not need to update it. You owned it and it was actually yours. Like you had After Effects, you had Flash, you had Dreamweaver, and it was yours 100%. You didn't have to pay a monthly subscription or anything. And it just seems kind of messed up that, you know, you had a software and it's being discontinued and you paid into that subscription. You paid to learn that software and you're not going to receive any further support for it. It says right here, there will be no more technical support after 2027. And they're saying right here, like, hey, by March 1st, you should download all of your FLA files, all of your XFL files, all your MP4s, export everything, because you might not even be able to use this software in the future. And that's kind of like a scary thing for anything, because like imagine if you're using After Effects or Autodesk Maya and they say, hey, we're done, and you spent years at school learning this software. You spent years working with this software. There's many animators like Tonico. He makes a lot of posts. He uses Flash or Animate in all of his videos. Luckily, I use Toon Boom, but the same thing can happen to Toon Boom. You don't own Toon Boom. You subscribe to Toon Boom. You use it every month. You pay them a certain amount of money. And Toon Boom can just say, hey, we're not profitable anymore, and instead of giving you the ability to download Toon Boom forever, we're just going to make it so no one can ever access Toon Boom again. And that's messed up. And it's almost like you should pirate these programs, because it's like you've invested into it, you paid money into it, and how do they reward you? By discontinuing your software. So I don't want to keep this video too long, but Animate or Flash was like everyone's entry. If you were in 2D animation, you most likely started off with Animate or Flash. Trust me, it's like the gateway. And then as you progress your skills more, you would move into like Krita or OpenTunes or Toon Boom. I stuck with Toon Boom just because Toon Boom has rigging and I love to rig. But if I was a pure 2D animator, I would be using Animate and Flash. And even when I was in college, I had an entire course that was about Flash. We were just creating like buttons and images, and it was like a little bit of game design as well, like some action script. But even indie developers who make 2D games, back in the day, a lot of those Newground games, those games on Newgrounds, they were Flash games. So I think it's messed up. I think they should allow people to get a downloadable forever Flash, just kind of like a little thank you, like, hey, we're not going to support it anymore, but here you can click this download. You can download Flash or Animate and you can keep it for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? Because trust me, if I open my master collection, Adobe CS6, I can still do the same thing on those old versions, even if they're, I believe after 2012, that's when we moved to CC, Creative Cloud. Even if that was 10 years ago, I can still do rigging in CS6. I can still do mask path animations. I can still do a lot of editing in the older versions of After Effects. I don't need After Effects 2025 or 2026 to be an editor, to be an animator. I'm sure a lot of people will find new programs, but they're gonna have to maybe start all over, and that kind of sucks because there might be someone learning Flash right now. I'm looking at an explosion tutorial on how to animate explosions, and the guy gave me his Flash files, his Adobe Animate files. Soon I won't be able to open that file anymore for reference, and that just kind of sucks. So it really is like a scam. Like, you should just only have downloadable software. There was a time where we didn't have to subscribe to every single piece of software that we had. When you bought a video game, it was yours. When you bought a software, it was yours. And now it's just like this subscription that kind of sucks. It drains the life out of you. And I know it's gonna hit harder for a lot of other animators. And it's almost like a little fear you have that if you put everything in one basket, that basket can disappear. I had a friend, he edited everything in Sony Vegas, and Sony Vegas was discontinued, so he moved to Adobe Premiere. But who's to say there's going to be a day where Adobe Premiere is no longer relevant, and animation is no longer, sorry, the sun is in my eye, animation is no longer student friendly. It's no longer cost friendly. Animation software is extremely expensive. Toon Boom Harmony, if you just want to use Toon Boom in its full application, it's gonna cost you like $150 a month, maybe $200 a month. Autodesk Maya used to be free. It used to be free for students. You used to have 3-year licenses. Every 3 years you would update that license. Now you have 1-year licenses, and you need to submit a student ID, and that's never worked for me. So you have to submit a transcript. You have to submit like official documents proving to Autodesk, the company, that you're a student there. I haven't opened Autodesk Maya in 2 years because I just can't get it. It's hard to crack. It costs like $1,000 a year or more. It's very expensive. So most people, like, when you're learning something, you don't want to spend $1,000 just to figure out if you like it or not. The free trials are usually very, very short, like maybe 14 days, 21 days if you're lucky. So it really isn't encouraging at all. When I think Adobe Animate was one of the cheapest softwares. It was $30 a month, and now it's like $60 a month, like, to use the Adobe Creative Cloud suite. And now it's just like, what do you do now? Like, everyone's gonna go to Blender, and what happens when the Blender company starts charging people money? Blender is free now, but that's not gonna last forever, you know? So that's just my thoughts on it. I think this is messed up. I think this is a very bad move on Adobe's part. It breaks a lot of trust. It definitely is going to impact the animation community. And I think this is a warning that you should not put all your eggs in one basket. That maybe you should pirate software. Hey, I didn't say it. Maybe you should. That you should save your money. If you can't save your time, the next best thing you can do is save your money. And back in the day, like, I was broke. I had to have the cracked version of CS6. I couldn't even afford it. I was a student. I barely had $100 to my name when I was in high school and the first few years of college. So everything I did, all my editing, I did it on Adobe Master Collection, CS6, the cracked and pirated version. And I had to, because I didn't want to live in a student lab. My school did have a lab, but it wasn't accessible at midnight. It wasn't accessible at 3 in the morning. It had lab hours, and lab hours is like, you're in there, sometimes you want to have something to yourself that you can do at home at your leisure. Like, I can work on a tutorial at my leisure. So yeah, it kind of sucks. I think this is gonna make pirating more common, and if pirating doesn't become more common, then it's gonna push away a lot of people from the industry. Maybe this is what they want. Like, a lot of people won't have access to animation tools because of cost and accessibility. So sorry guys, it's very sunny. My apartment's very loud. It's cold today, but not too cold right now. If there's any updates with Adobe Animate and Adobe, I will get back to you guys. You're welcome to comment, like, subscribe. Let me know what you think about this. This is messed up. And Animators Paradise, Sam, I'll see you.